Hi there, this is David, and welcome to all the great RPGs being released in March of 2023. This is a continuation of my series, where each month I go over all the games being released, and give you some information about them, as well as a bit of my opinion on them. So I'm here to arm you with as much knowledge as I can, so that you're able to make some informed purchases. So, with all that being said, let's go ahead and get started going over these games in release order. Number 1. Wulong Fallen Dynasty, to be released March 3rd for the Xbox, PS4, and PS5. Are you a fan of Nioh, Dark Souls, or even Bloodborne? Then something like this might be right up your alley. This upcoming action RPG from Team Ninja takes quite a bit of inspiration from those three titles, while at the same time being unique enough to be its own thing. With an ancient China aesthetic and a flashy, fluid combat system that has a heavy emphasis on agility, parries, and counters, it seems like a whole bunch of fun. And rather than just going from like point A to point B and fighting a whole bunch of monsters to level up, you're instead rewarded for exploring the entire map, because each time that you plant a new flag in a new area, you get much more powerful. So here, you're not just going to be grinding by a save point, you really want to go out and explore those beautiful landscapes. Number 2. Little Witch No Betta, to be released March 7th for the Switch and PS4. This has been out on Steam for quite a bit of time now, where it got some rave reviews, but now it's getting published for consoles. And say what you will about Idea Factory, but even a stopped clock is right twice a day. Here, we have their answer to the Soulsborne genre, starring a kawaii little witch in a dark, mysterious castle that she explores with her trusty magic wand, which might as well be a gun. And while this might look warm and fluffy, it's actually pretty hard. Think Dark Souls meets Doom, but just in a really cute setting. So go with the little witch as she deep dives into the depths of the castle to uncover the mysteries of her past, her powers, her familiar, and her family. Number 3. Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remastered Collection, to be released March 9th for the PS4, Switch, Xbox, and PC. Let me be very clear here. The first two Suikoden games are the best two Suikoden games, and that is not nostalgia talking. That is cold, hard facts. Here, we have a remaster of the first two games with much greater ambiance, with the use of new sound effects, such as birds and rivers, as well as new effects to the pixel art. The one main drag about the first couple of games was the translations, so hopefully those will get a touch up too, as this isn't your typical JRPG with like inane banter that doesn't really matter anyway. This is a real, true story about love, war, loss, family, country, brotherhood, and justice that should not be missed by anybody who enjoys turn-based RPGs. And believe me, the best way to experience these gems is in a back-to-back collection like this, especially since those PlayStation originals now run in the upwards of the triple digits. Number 4. Made of Anomalies, to be released March 10th for the PS4, PS5, Xbox, Switch, and PC. This is a turn-based RPG that takes players on a journey across Meito, a fantasized neo-futuristic version of like Shanghai. And you have control over dual protagonists, Do and Graham, who together investigate the strange anomalies around the city, and they venture into rifts to battle demonic abominations determined to bring about the city's downfall. Graham, your ninja, fights in turn-based battles against the anomalies, while Do is an investigator, and he doesn't exactly fight, but he instead fights with his mind against demons with strategic card-based battle gameplay. This is a much darker take on the traditional turn-based RPG, and if you're a fan of something like Shin Megami Tensei, then you really do need to look into this one. Number 5. The Legend of Heroes Trails to Azure, to be released March 14th for the Switch and PS4. This is the direct sequel to last year's Trails from Zero, and this picks up right where the first game left off, as the conclusion to the thrilling Crossbell arc. I personally played through both of these games on my channel years ago when they were first translated back on the PSP, and I can safely tell you that of the 3 arcs in the series, the Crossbell arc is definitely my favorite. The story's riveting, the characters are likable, there's no dumb high school setting or harem antics, and it doesn't take an entire game just to get into the action. You hit the ground running here, so come and uncover the mysteries of Crossbell, Kia, and the giant Azure tree in this game that actually runs concurrently to the events of Cold Steel 1 and 2. Number 6. Bayonetta Origins, Cereza and the Lost Demon, to be released March 17th for the Switch. Whenever I first saw this on the Nintendo Direct a couple of weeks ago, I was stoked. I was actually excited for a Bayonetta game for the first time in my life. With a beautiful setting reminding me a lot of Okami, here you uncover the origins of Bayonetta and you learn how she became such a powerful witch. A neat little twist is that you don't fight the demons that you encounter. Instead, you only control Bayonetta as she works her enchantments across the battlefield, controlling, stunning, and mesmerizing the various monsters while the demon does the dirty work, slaughtering all the foes around her. I think that this is going to be a wonderful entry, and I cannot wait to dip my foot into the pool that is Bayonetta. Number 7. Linked Worlds, to be released March 23rd for the PC. This is an SNES-styled throwback action RPG inspired by games like Chocobo's Dungeon and Final Fantasy Tactics. Designed to be a relatively short 5 to 10 hour jaunt, specifically for people who don't have, 100 hours to finish a game, this is a short, sweet, and to-the-point entry. Has a day-night cycle affecting monster appearances, as well as NPC schedules, and a lot of care went into this. And the battle system reminds me a lot of like roguelikes, where you move upon a grid, and with each step, the monsters take a step. It's a throwback to that Japanese-only hidden gem classic Monstania, released on the Super Famicom. So if this looks like something that might tickle your fancy, be sure to go and wishlist it now, then check it out once it releases, and always support your small developers. Number 8. Atelier Rise 3, Alchemists of the Secret Key, to be released March 24th for the Switch, PS4, PS5, and PC. I've had a long and sordid history with these Atelier games. I first played them on the PS2 when they were known as Atelier Iris, and then the later spin-offs of Manichemia, and I loved them! So of course, I got into the mainline series on the PS3, but those had time limits, which I hated. However, I did hear good things about Atelier Rise, so last year I picked up the first game and I quickly fell in love with it. Then I immediately went on to the second game, and now I am waiting with bated breath for the third. Boasting the largest living field in the entire series that you can move around seamlessly in without loading times, 11 party members including that super hot Daddy Lent, this is the final chapter in Rise's story, and I cannot wait to see how it all ends. Number 9. Record of Agarest War, to be released in March for the Switch. If you think that you're losing your mind because you've already heard of this game or even played it, that's because you have. First released in 2007 for the Xbox 360 as well as the PlayStation 3, it's now receiving an upgraded port to the Nintendo Switch. So, if you've already played this back in the day, there isn't too much new here. It's not a full-on remake, it's just an upscaled HD remaster, but it does have new music, and, most importantly, it includes all of the previous add-on dungeons and extra content packs that were formerly DLC. So, if you're looking for a really unique, involved strategy RPG taking place over multiple generations and lasting well over 100 hours, this might be the game for you. Number 10. Silverfall's Gaiden, Deathly Delusion Destroyers, to be released March 9th for the Nintendo 3DS. Sorry for being a little bit out of order here, but this was brought to me last minute. Remember Fragrant Story and what a scam that crap was? Well, as luck would have it, it's not actually the final 3DS RPG. This turn-based RPG, which comes complete with an additional bonus game, is. The story follows Gus after his husband goes missing while camping in the forests of a small mountain town called Silver Falls. It isn't the first time that someone's gone missing around these parts though, and the town is always banded together to search around for the missing people. However, Gus has his doubts about how the people in town feel about him, as well as his husband, and so out of shame, he doesn't ask anybody to help him out. So, the story follows Gus as he comes to terms with his struggle, realizing that he does need to process that sense of shame and ask the townsfolk for help to go out and find his missing love. This is going to launch exclusively on the 3DS eShop, so you really only have about 2 weeks to grab it if you like what you see here. Act fast. So, that's it for all the JRPGs being released in March. What titles are you most excited for and why? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video and what I do on the channel, please consider following me over on Twitter, supporting me on Patreon for exclusive videos and early access to my content, heading on over to Twitch for some streaming fun, or coming on over to my Discord to chat and hang out. The links to them all can be found in the video description. This has been David, and if you like this, please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good day.